Hello. Yes, thank you for having me with you, and I will read your questions. Um, so it's Hi Miriam, thank you for joining us today. We are so glad to have you with us. Yes, I'm so happy and glad as well, and I'm honored that you have me with you. I'm Miriam, and Isha recommended me to you, and here it's Aisha Kalatualapil. You can read her handle. So she's one of the prior poets who got interviewed, and I really can recommend you her interview. And I worked very long with her with the Music Square, and now she recommended me to you, and she's very amazing. I also can recommend her new community. It's Esna. Yeah, you find it. So check out her new page and wish her all the best. And she's really amazing. So you will see me today. I will read all your questions. I wrote them down here all, and you also will find different scenes, and because I will record them in different goes, so don't wanna wear suddenly something else. So I have a new angel. I show you, it's my poetry garden, how I call it. So see you in the different episodes. And here is the second question. You are a poetess, designer, artist, musician, dancer, a yogi, a photographer. How does it work? How do you manage your time? Sometimes I'm asking myself the same question, but I'm a multi-passionate person, so I have to do all the things, so they are coming naturally to me. And I must admit, I'm often overwhelmed that I want to do all the stuff at the same time, but it's not possible, and at the same time it is possible. So I just made some notes. So I think I have 7 notes on this, because it's also one of my favorite topics, how I manage all of this. First of all, I don't watch TV. Through this I have a lot of time available. Second, I do regularly sport. This refreshes me and rejuvenates me. When I did sport, I'm awake. I am able to ride after it, so it just triggers my ride routine. Also, number 3 is I made writing a regular habit, so I just have to write. And I write almost every day, so let's say minimum half an hour. And this doesn't mean I write a full poem, but when you can imagine, when you write every day for 365 days, you can write a lot of poems. So, but I don't write 100 poems a year, so maybe 20, 50, so but it's enough to fill a lot of anthologies. So then number 4 is I don't think too much about all the stuff I'm doing. I just jot down all the stuff I want to do in 1 week, and then I have them out of my head, and then I just focus on today, and I think of the things I want to do today. Mostly I just plan too much for one day, but I'm just focusing on one thing I want to do right now. I have the thing is, in my main job I have a lot of stuff to tackle in one day, so I have to do multitasking things, and yeah, and though it's like I'm doing it for also my private stuff, so I'm jotting down all the stuff for one day, what I want to do, and then I just focus on the thing I want to do right now. And then when I have finished the thing I want to do right now, I can move on to the next thing. But I never worry about the next thing because I have it in my book, and sometimes I just have it in my head. I can move on to the next job, or I just have a look in my book. So this is my secret. Yeah. Then number 5 is I do the things that rejuvenates me, so I'm able to do a lot of things, so they never exhaust me, or almost never exhaust me. So I'm still human. Number 6, I do the projects I'm doing very intense, so I really focus on one thing at a time. So it can mean that I'm recording, like now, a lot of videos, and next week I will do something else. So I also have periods where I press the pause button for one project. So it can happen that one project lies there for 1 or 2 months and I do nothing with it. So, but I know that I will return to it. This is my other secret. So I don't worry so much about it, but I try to get it finished. So yes, this is also number 7, that the projects can take a little bit longer because I'm doing everything at once. Yeah. And yeah, you also asked me how I can do yoga and dancing and all the stuff together. It's also, yoga is one of my daily habits. I start it at the moment directly in the morning, and I just do it for 10 to 15 minutes. So when I have more time, I do it for 15 or 20 minutes, but yeah, because I have a very intense main job, so I just keep my practice very short, so it's often just 7 or 10 minutes, but I do it regularly. Then dancing, I do it once a week, and I love it, and that's why I'm doing it. So I look for routines that I love, and yeah, I make them a habit. So your third question is, you're an editor by profession. As a writer, don't you find it difficult to edit someone's work without letting your inner writer out? So yes, I'm an editor by profession, but this means in Germany something different. So I'm an editor and a designer by profession, and it doesn't mean that I edit text. So because I'm working for a German children's broadcaster, so my responsibility lies between creating a broadcast appearance and for different series and shows, and there I realize, also create concepts and ideas, and conduct an appearance on given ideas. So yeah, luckily I can weave my own ideas in it, but I still follow other ideas or realize other ideas. And one of the things which let me do it, I love collaborating with other creators, and I also really like and love the things what I do there. Yeah, it's they are often very meaningful, and this is what I like and love. Yeah, and then I also added it for the Musa Square together with Arts and Publishing House, different books and anthologies, and so yeah, it's through this I got also the opportunity to send in my own poems, so it's always a mix of both. So I am in service for others, what I love to support other voices, and I really love to dive into other words and poems. So for me it's I learn something new. So your next question is, what are your favorite genres? Yeah, my favorite genres, definitely writing about stars in the universe, penning down my thoughts, and often about mindful living. So some people say my poems are like a meditation. Others say that they are spiritual or soothing, and I also definitely love mythologies, reading fairy tales and magic within my poems, just to name some of them. Yeah. Number 5. Out of the many poems that you have written, which is your favorite? Yeah, and this suits so well to the last question, where I've talked about fairy tales. And thank you for asking me and letting me read one of my poems. Thank you. I will just begin. They usually don't come with a title, so I start directly. I think fairies are a bridge between worlds. You can't see them anymore, neither the secret gates nor the magical creatures with the glitter dust. Even if you try very hard and you narrow your eyes to tiny slits so that the sunlight might pull golden strings, you won't see them anymore. But there's a maybe. I often wish I see their presence in the dancing light, flying over the rivers from one ripple to the next. When the sunbeams meet their tiny wings. I miss the time when asking questions was an easy thing, when everything was new to me, and I could ask my Uncle holes in the belly when actually speaking to the fairies was normal. So, thank you. I think fairies are a bridge between worlds. You can't see them anymore. Neither the secret gates nor the magical creatures with their glitter dust. Even if you try very hard and you narrow your eyes to tiny slits so that the sunlight might pull golden strings, you won't see them. But there's a maybe. I often wish I see their presence in the dancing light, flying over the rivers from one ripple to the next, and the sunbeams meet their tiny wings. I miss the time when asking questions was new to me, and I could ask my Uncle holes in the belly, when actually speaking to the fairies was normal. Bye-bye. As an editor, what do you seek from writers? This is question number 6. When I create and edit work, I look for originality, especially how the poem starts, and if I can see your voice shining through the words. With yeah, with originality, I also mean that you don't use too many cliches, or if the words are replaceable. So this means also if the writer uses words that everybody is using. So I can really encourage you or the writers to look at your own voice. For example, when you speak of the phoenix arising from the ashes, what are your thoughts behind it? So just don't write just from the phoenix arising from the ashes. Add your own words to it, your own images. Go into the details. This is what I mean. So it's not about avoiding these cliches. I love writing from the phoenix of the ashes, but it's, yeah, add a little bit spark and your own voice to it. And I feel everybody has a unique voice, because I know we all have this inner critic in us, thinking, oh, am I unique? Yes, your voice is unique, because nobody writes what you write and think. So I really encourage you to find your voice and trust your voice and write. Yeah, this is what I wanted to say. Also, I'm really easily touched by words, and I just seek this in poems, your unique words and what touched you in your life and what you want to give a voice. And I really love to find the gems in the words. So I just recently curated the poems for Solas, and we are still creating a wonderful magazine which is still in the making. But I loved all the poems so much. They were to the theme belonging, and I was so touched by every one of the poems and the poets that I decided to write a review for everyone. So it's still in the making, and we paused shortly because of COVID, but we will continue very soon with it. So yeah, this is what I mean, that I'm touched very easily by it, and that I really see the gems and the beauty within the poems. And yeah, and that I really mean it. that I'm touched easily. As an editor, what do you seek from writers? This is question number 6. Yes, when I create and edit work, I look for originality. Especially how the poem starts, and if I can see your voice shining through the words. With originality, I also mean that you don't use too many cliches, or if the words are replaceable. So this means also if the writer uses words that everybody is using. So I can really encourage you or the writers to look at your own voice. For example, when you speak of the phoenix arising from the ashes, what are your thoughts behind it? So just don't write just from the phoenix arising from the ashes. Add your own words to it, your own images. Go into the details. This is what I mean. So it's not about avoiding these cliches. I love writing from the phoenix of the ashes, but it's, yeah, add a little bit spark and your own voice to it. And I feel everybody has a unique voice, because I know we all have these inner critic in us, thinking, oh, am I unique? Yes, your voice is unique because nobody writes what you write and think. So I really encourage you to find your voice and trust your voice and write. Yeah, this is what I wanted to say. Also, I'm really easily touched by words, and I just seek this in poems, your unique words and what touched you in your life and what you want to give a voice. And I really love to find the gems in the words. So I just recently curated the poems for Coldest, and we are still creating a wonderful magazine which is still in the making. But I loved all the poems so much, they were to the theme belonging, and I was still touched by every one of the poems and the poets, that I decided to write a review for everyone. So it's still in the making, and we paused shortly because of COVID, but we will continue very soon with it. So yeah, this is what I mean, that I'm touched very easily by it, and that I really see the gems and the beauty within the poems, and yeah, and that I really mean it. that I'm touched easily. So your next question, number 7, is what's important to you, content or grammar? Yep, both. Yeah, because as I'm not a native, so I struggle often a little bit with little misslips or with grammar, so I try to give my best at it. And yeah, that is why I say both. So yeah, it's something beautiful when you take care of the grammar. So I always read my poems twice, or sometimes 3 times, 4 times, or yeah, what I also often do is I read them loud, so that I see or sense when something is wrong. But I'm not free of errors, so nobody is, so don't think too much about it. Also, I'm lucky that I usually have someone who reads my poems, so it's often my mother, and yeah, I'm very grateful for this, or that I'm already published in some anthologies, and I'm right now working on my debut collection, so I have people who look for the grammar. So yeah. Number 8. As a poetess, which emotion dominates you the most? This is difficult. I usually love to use the whole palette of emotions, so yeah, but I also have some favorite ones. It's I love to dive into bliss, and with this, joy, happiness. I love this a lot, but lately I also dive a lot into the emotions of pain and anger, and I often write about closing wounds, and yeah, and also write about fear and anxiety. But it's always I write about these things to get a solution. So my poems are often, or most of the time, filled with hope, or with a solution, or inspiration, or with alchemy. So yeah, I transform my pain into something beautiful. Also, what I also love is that I use metaphors or strong images. So like I often love to write about meteor storm, or a strong wind, or I just use the wind to let the emotions flow through me. So that's what I love doing. So you asked me, tell us about Voices of Poets. Yes, Voices of Poets is, I'm the co-founder of Voices of Poets, and I love Voices of Poets. And I founded it 3 years ago together with Sakari Kakana, known as Jinji, and with Benson, known as Benson Arthur, and his full name is Benson Arthur Jr. And I'm so proud, happy, and grateful that I have met these wonderful souls and that they are with me. So I'm outside today, and it's again summer in Germany. So I enjoy the last summer days, and I'm outside and there are noises. So I just have to wait shortly. So one thing about Voices, it came from a book idea. So Sakarika and me had the idea to create an anthology with 27 poets, and this was the origin and the idea to create a community as well. So there was first the book with 27 poets, and then we started the community, and while compiling and editing and arranging the book, we did it. Here is the book, you can see it. It's so beautiful. And Dani Hernandez made the cover design, and also Aish and Benson helped with editing. So, and then there's one more thing about Voices of Poets. At the moment we have a very beautiful challenge. It's all poets could take another poet, so this is nothing special though. But the special thing with Voices is that every poet wrote a little love note, and this was so beautiful to see. And now we feature since I think 2 months all the beautiful poets and all the beautiful love notes, and it's so beautiful to spread some love. And this is also why we do it. We love to spread all the voices and give them a voice and a platform. This is about Voices. And finally, this is the last question. What do you think of trinoculars? Any suggestions? Thank you so much for having me with you, and for Aisha recommending me to you. And she was also one of the wonderful guests of you, and I read her article twice. I loved it so much. Also because I knew her, and and one point I loved about it was her writing habits. I loved especially this, and then I also love the introduction of Sanam Asif, and you write so beautiful. And Abe Singh, I found very interesting that he created a publishing house by himself. So I really loved your choice of interviews, and keep going. I will definitely return and read your interviews.